Okay, well, let's go ahead and start. So if you would join me in the flag salute, and if you would stand, please, and the flag is right behind me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and
to the republic for which it stands,
one
one nation,
under God,
under God, indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
And now a song. Oh, wait a minute, wrong beat.
forsaken.
And you
My Rotary Club always sings after the flag salute.
Just don't start singing "Oh Canada," we'll be all right.
Yeah, really.
I can't hit the notes.
Yeah.
Okay, the next item is approval of the agenda. I don't see Ken Van Buskirk had asked to take July 1st off, and I think it was it the June 7th? Oops.
Okay.
I don't have that in front of me again. I'm sorry. I don't see him here. So, you know, if he has some issues, he should probably get on board here. So I will just go ahead and continue on with the agenda as it is, unless you have any other changes, John.
No, I'm trying to. I remember the email, and there was something that he didn't like in there, or something. But I wouldn't want to change anything as it was. I mean, I what the meetings were about as to what's in the minutes. So.
Okay, so do I hear a motion to accept the approval of the agenda?
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda.
And I'll second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Now we go to public comment. We ask that you please keep it to 3 minutes. I think Brad Carey had asked for 20 to 30 minutes. I think it will be denied. I believe it or not, I've had some complaints from some of the couple of the people out there that it's gone on too long. You know, I mean, the meetings go too long. So we're going to try to keep this short.
Okay.
So 3 minutes, please. Public comment. Okay, who would like to go first?
Go ahead, Jeff.
Come on, Jeff.
Jeff? I see Harold Carey, but he's muted and I don't see him speaking up. If you would raise your hand if you want to speak.
I've asked him to unmute.
Let's give him a little bit of opportunity here to get on.
Yeah, I've asked him to unmute.
Okay.
How do you raise your hand? Is it down there in the menu?
See the little
I see it.
icons?
Hmm?
There's a little icon with a little emoji. There's if you click on that, you can there's different ones across the board. One says raise hand.
It's right
Like
there.
that? Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Cool. Thanks.
Is it your dad that's on there, Jeff? You're muted, so I can't tell.
Can he unmute?
I'm asking him to unmute. There we go. Okay, Jeff.
Jeff, is your dad on there?
He said he was going to come online, but I don't know if he's on yet or not. As far as comments from me, my comments would be towards the end because I need to hear what's discussed through the executive report and the other business you got. So,
okay. Well, I guess we can wait till the end. I mean, your dad shows that he's online. It's just that he's muted.
And I've asked him to unmute several times.
And surely he can
Hey,
hear
here's
us.
Ted. Here's Ted.
Good. Hi, Ted.
Ted's muted too.
Hello.
Hey, Ted.
We just did our flag salute and we did the approval of the agenda. Unless you have otherwise, because you have a chance to look at the agenda.
Yes, and I approve the agenda. Yes.
Okay, we were waiting for public comment and so far nobody has spoken up. We've waited for about a minute and a half or something. I guess Barry.
Yes, we'd like to make a comment. I was thinking others were going to go first, so we'd like to comment.
Sure, please, 3 minutes.
Okay, yes, and please tell me when it's 3 minutes, because
Okay.
I'm going to be thinking here and I can't do.
I'll jab you.
Yeah, there you go. We, both Vicky and I, want to go on record with our concerns of the increased usage of the park for suspected drug deals and things like that that are going on. It's fairly clear. I mean, I say suspected, but it's pretty clear what's going on. And this increased drug activity is started about 6 months ago, we think. We were talking about it tonight. Before the cameras were put up, most of the people were meeting at the, park there facing the waterfront or right in that area. Since the cameras have gone up, now they're meeting more up by the shed used for the Sergeant Oyster House historical equipment, sometimes the Oyster House, sometimes right in the, between the shed and the grapevines, and sometimes in that parking lot just below the port building. We've seen them. There was one just in front of our house in the daytime, kind of unbelievable. There was one over in the port parking lot next to the high wall. And again, as I say, these were suspected, but they're happening more often and much more often. And they come with a very audible bumblebee sound of engines as they're revving them up over in the park. It's pretty difficult. How much?
1 minute.
Oh, man. Okay. So anyway, right now they're, in meeting over by the grapevines in that area, if they're doing it in the afternoons, this happens, during the day, afternoons and night, kids are in the playground. Drug activity is not always safe. And so we're just concerned about it. I have talked to several sheriffs, and every time a sheriff comes out and parks down there in the area, of course, there's, everybody bypasses the park. But anyway, they're very nice. They just state that they can't do anything. So I don't know what the answer is, but this certainly was not the same activity of a year ago. We didn't even notice anything a year ago. Like I said, last 6 months. So I don't know, we'd be willing to help and do anything we could. We could get license plates or whatever. I don't know what the answer is, but I want to go on record with this, and I want to see if there's any kind of a solution we can come to keep these people out of here.
Thank you, Barry. Leanne.
I can address that a little bit. I don't know how much of it is going to be separate, but Travis is talking about our Wi-Fi, and he's getting a lot more traffic. He said a lot of people are just doing homework and stuff, so we don't know the answer yet, but he just brought it up like 2 days ago. But at least turning it off at 10 o'clock at night or something, talking to PUD because it's through PUD. So there's that bit of an issue. So there's some extra traffic that way. We're aware of that.
Well,
Hiding behind grape bushes sounds like drug deals.
Well, yeah. I mean, when the one in front of our house was a guy came in a pickup, and about 3 minutes later, a woman came down, and we know the cars. She got over, got out of her car, went over, got very, very difficult to get into the front passenger side of the pickup. Spent about 3 or 4 minutes there and walked back to her car. And then they both drove off. There's all of these little bumblebee cars, I call them. They just park right next to each other. I don't think those guys are doing homework.
No.
Well,
That's
and
not
Yeah.
what Travis said.
it's pretty obvious the same cars come 3, 4, 5 times a day.
Yeah.
So perhaps if you could take license plates numbers, we could probably pass them on, at least for the record.
Mhm.
I don't know if we can move cameras. I don't think we can we?
I'm gonna
No,
address
probably.
cameras in my report.
Okay,
What I've done is gone out and just stood outside and glanced over quite frequently at them, and they don't like that too well. So they leave sooner than they normally would. But we pretty much know the cars that are involved, so.
thank
that
you.
that type of suspicious activity is a lot of times all they're gonna do is blog it, but if they keep getting the same license plates, it starts building information for them to work with, and then might increase their presence there more often. And then the idea of cameras being any place where there's bushes and they feel comfortable being away from the limelight,
Mhm.
we as a port should entertain adding some additional camera. Maybe I want to bring that up here when we can. So
The last time the sheriff was over, I even took him over some of Vicky's homemade sweets and just to encourage him to come back.
You
So,
can always call me if it's during the day.
sure.
And you can always
I've
bring me
been
some
known
of
to
her
run
homemade
down
sweets.
and talk to people, so, yeah.
Okay. Well,
And you can always bring me some of her homemade sweets.
yeah, right. There you go. I'd be real careful, Leanne. These guys are.
No, they've seen me walk up and I just have a pad and a pencil in my hand and they take
Oh.
off
Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
because
Good.
they know I'm taking down a license plate number.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I never have to get confrontation or anything, but
Okay.
call me and I'll walk
Okay.
down.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
With
Thank you.
my little
Great.
pad, my pen, and they run. Yeah.
Hey,
Right.
Ted, do you have any thoughts on that?
Pardon?
I asked Ted if he had any thoughts on it, having a career in law enforcement.
Yeah, I just removed a couple of people that were sitting down at the Port of Allyn that was sitting behind the grapevine on the spur road, as I call it, on the spur there. And they said they were looking at Wi-Fi, but I could tell they were doing something else. So
Yeah.
I asked them to move along. And if you walk outside your door right now, I've asked the young lady that was playing her music way too loud to respect the neighbors. So I know what you go through, but remember the Ogren's house was down there
Mhm.
and Denise was very good about telling people to move along. So,
Mhm.
and I used to sit down there late at night to look at traffic that came through the Port of Allyn, especially just sitting down there. I usually got underage drinkers and a few other senior citizens doing something they shouldn't be doing. But, we used to have eyes down there. We do. I am very confident that our cameras will help. But just remember right now, with regards to law enforcement, we call them up and say, we suspect drug activity.
Mhm.
It's going to be way low on their list.
Yeah. They told me they couldn't do anything. Basically, their hands were tied. So.
Yeah. And so what I'm going to ask is that my fish and wildlife officers is just spend a little bit more time down there. It's a great place, Leanne. Maybe we could give the state our Wi-Fi. Well, they have Wi-Fi everywhere, but they could do some paperwork down there. And just sitting down there in a marked vehicle deters some activity.
Mhm.
I think the sheriffs do that too. In fact, the
They
other
do.
one that I gave the sweets to, he was filling out paperwork, sitting over by the port building there.
And they like that spot down there. We like that spot down there. I liked it, and I live just up the hill, but I like doing my paperwork down there because it's a beautiful view. So,
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
but yeah, we'll try to
Okay.
pick it up a little bit.
Thank
Okay.
you.
We'll
Great,
comment
thank you.
next month then.
Thank you so much. Okay, next item on the agenda is the consent agenda items. And we have the regular meeting minutes of July 1st, special meeting minutes, actually it's the regular meeting minutes of July 13th because we changed that. And then special meeting July 28th and regular meeting minutes of June 7th. Do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve them.
Do I hear a second?
I, I'm still working through them. I don't know what happened. Maybe it's because I attended a meeting, but I still like to work through them a little bit more.
And
So I-
do you have one that you want to remove with discussion, or do you have,
The
all of-
July 1st meeting, I like to remove, and maybe we could discuss that. The other meetings I'm fine with, I'll say yes to the July 13th, 28th, and June 7th.
okay, July 1st will be removed? So is that okay, John, with your,
I
Don?
respect that. I mean, I didn't see an issue, but I totally respect that. So I'll make a motion to approve the three that Commissioner Jackson is good with. And then move the other one until we have time he'll have time to go over it.
Okay,
Is
just
that
for,
good?
yeah.
Perfect.
so-
Thank you very much.
So I hear a second from you, Ted.
Yes, I'll second.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, with July 1st removed for discussion. So do you want to take time to discuss July 1st now?
I'm still trying to pull it up, Commissioner.
Do you need me to send you a new copy?
If you can just send just a blank copy of that July 1st meeting, I can go through it real quick, if you don't mind.
You bet.
Thank
So
you.
in the meantime, we can go ahead and do the action items. Is that okay?
Yes,
Okay, action, who would like to make the motion for general fund, payroll vouchers and water fund vouchers?
I'll make a motion that we approve action item A, payment of general fund vouchers number 2108-02-001 to 2108-02022 for $28,938.33. Action item B, payment of payroll vouchers number 2108-01001 to 2108-01000, 2801-011 for $20,852.51. And action item C, payment of the water fund vouchers number 21803001 to 2108030005 for $16,479.74.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Okay, Ted, did you get your July 1st yet, or is it still too soon?
It's still a little bit too soon.
Okay,
Well,
how about
I've sent it.
okay, how about a commissioner's report? Who would like to go first? I'll go first. I just did the 3 meetings for July. And I plan on attending the EDC meeting next week. So that's about it. Who's next?
Well, in between vacation, I don't have any agenda or particular plan to go to any meetings other than the Port of Allyn meetings anytime soon. So I don't have much to report this time.
Okay. Ed, would you like your report, or would you like to wait?
I'm just going through the minutes right now. Thank you, Larry. But my commissioner's report was that I attended the special meeting, and we had the executive meeting, and then I have been doing some work on PRTO that I hope to send to the rest of the commissioners here really within the next day. Some updates. I'll make sure I send them to the executive director first, but
Yeah, that'd be
I have
great.
no problems, and I'll end my commissioner's report. I would say yes or yay on the meeting of July 1.
Okay. So do I hear a motion to accept July 1st? Special meeting.
I
I'll make a
understand.
motion. I'm
Go ahead.
sorry.
No, go ahead, Commissioner.
I'll make a motion to accept the July 1, 2021 minutes.
Okay, I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So moved. Thank you very much. Okay, security officers report. Larry.
Okay, July 4th summary, no issues from fireworks to report from patrons using the Allyn Waterfront Park. Everyone had cleared out by midnight without any issues. Upon arrival at the North Shore at 9 p.m., no patrons were using or displayed intent to use fireworks. It was a very calm evening as 4th of July's go. July 15th, 8:55 p.m., confronted Phil Steffen, owner of the Pirate Queen vessel, which paid for one of 2 allowed summer monthly moorage slips, about him living on board his vessel. I'd explained once before, the Port of Allyn facilities are storage facilities only with no live aboard privileges. He responded with a shrug of his shoulders and said, "So what?" I again plainly stated that living aboard his vessel was against port policy, and if he required further clarification, he was welcome to contact the Port of Allyn offices during regular business hours. I ended the conversation with, if he didn't comply, he would be asked to remove his vessel from port property. July 19th, 8:39 p.m. Paperwork was produced by the port office to serve Phil Steffen, Pirate Queen owner, about leaving the North Shore facility for non-compliance of official policy about living aboard on Port of Allyn property. At this time, I served him with the trespass notice and asked that he remove himself by the following day. July 21st, 8:22 p.m., Pirate Queen had left the North Shore facility. July 26th, 11:33 a.m., received a call from Brad Carey asking about when anyone would be at the port offices so he could serve paperwork for a lawsuit. He went on and on about how he had served millions of these things and he would be showing up at the commissioner's houses if necessary to effect service of his lawsuit, naming Judy Scott and Ted Jackson by name. I told him I wasn't authorized to accept his service and that the office is typically open from 11 a.m. to 4:30 Monday through Friday. July 26th, 8:13 p.m., some kind of paperwork is shoved into the crack of the double doors leading into the main entrance of the port office. I did not touch or remove it. I called the executive director to let him know the papers were there at this time. I took pictures and a short video for documentation. July 27th, 10:21 p.m., arrived at the Port of Allyn office to find the power completely out for just the office. All doors were secure and the fire alarm had not been tripped. Nothing suspicious detected to report. And that is the security officer's report.
Okay, thank you. Executive director's report.
Okay, financial issues. Things have seemingly leveled out and we aren't expecting any big expenditures between now and the end of the year. Our revenue streams are performing well considering that we budgeted very conservatively in the light of the COVID situation. We're still receiving inquiries and accepting bookings for weddings and events at the gazebo, and that business continues strong. We're also receiving higher number of bookings from Docwa than we anticipated for both Allyn and Hood Canal, and Docwa's already paid for itself for the entire year and then some. Commissioner Jackson requested a budget update last month, and we prepared the budget versus actual report from Bias. However, due to the length of the meeting, you all tabled it last month. While we received the reimbursements for the final closeout of the marina project, we haven't yet received the staging area expense reimbursements from RCO or the $10,000 reimbursement for Bill Ray's services. We also received a final bill from Art Anderson for the engineering on the Oyster House, which is in your vouchers tonight to be paid. We've included an updated report in your meeting packet, but once we collect the reimbursements from RCO for the staging area and Bill Ray and Art Anderson's reimbursements from Commerce, it would add approximately $80,000 to our bottom line and show a totally up-to-date and more completely accurate picture of our budget situation once those reimbursements are posted. Therefore, I would suggest tabling this again until we receive those, hopefully sometime this month. As you're aware, we're dealing with litigation, so we're incurring additional unbudgeted legal fees. We do have expenses related to the new well and legal expenses related to the water system, but these are coming out of the water fund, not our general fund. Executive session, while we did have an executive session last week to deal with litigation, I'm advising you that we would need to schedule a special meeting to hold another executive session with our attorney sometime in the near future to discuss litigation issues and options as well. I will consult with our attorney and coordinate all this with everyone. Water system issues, we had the meeting with Washington Water and their attorney, and it went well with no unexpected developments. We continue moving forward on the new well. We had the property surveyed to mark the corners and know where we can drill. There's an issue with an easement we need to work out, but it should be settled fairly quickly. As I noted previously, we're going to have to install a booster pump near the tank to equalize water pressure with the rest of the system for the existing new homes and others to be built up there. Signed a contract with Northwest Water Systems for the design of the booster system, and that work should be completed shortly. We'll locate the pump in the same general location as the other equipment for the new well. Cedarland Construction, the contractor building the new homes up there, will do the installation since they will be running the water lines for the new homes and are already mobilized on site. Having them do it will be the fastest, easiest, and least expensive way to get the problem solved. As I stated last month, I've not been at all happy with Northwest Water Systems Management Division's ability to provide the services we request or solve problems in a timely manner. I met with the manager at Belfair Water last week. We're going to meet again and further explore the possibility of them taking over the system management now that they have a better idea of what we need. I will also put a call into PUD1 this week to judge their interest about this as well. In the meetings with both Washington Water and Belfair Water, both are willing to discuss cooperating on prompting the county commissioners to establish a countywide coordinated water system plan. And if memory serves me correctly from the last meeting, Jeff Carey said he would be interested in then participating in that as well. Is that correct, Jeff? Let me ask
He's muted.
Yeah, got him. There.
I was reading my notes while you were talking.
Oh,
What was your last line?
In the meetings with Washington Water and Belfair Water, both are willing to discuss cooperating on prompting the county commissioners to establish a countywide coordinated
Sure.
water system plan. And you said something at the last meeting about you'd be interested in participating in that as well.
Yes, I would.
Okay.
Still, thanks.
From what I've been led to understand about the possibility of federal funding for the well from the bailout money the state will receive, we need to make a formal request to the county, engage our lobbyists as well. I'm on that this week. I've already talked to our lobbyist about it. Finally, we need to make some modifications to our water system plan to address several issues. I will bring those updates forward at the next regular meeting. Alcohol policy. Commissioner Jackson requested we adopt a policy on alcohol use at our facilities. Draft policy is on tonight's agenda for discussion and possible adoption. Public records issue. Due to the amount of voicemails on everybody's port phones, we will run out of storage space soon. Since we have to retain those for public records purposes, we are hiring a temp to come in starting tomorrow who will transcribe all the voicemails from everyone's phones. She will sign an affidavit for each and every phone stating their verbatim transcripts and record the date the transcription took place. She will also record the date and time of each message she transcribes. I will need your phones for this, of course, but I'll set up a schedule for this with each of you. She's going to start tomorrow working on my phone or possibly Judy's. Security camera issues. Our cameras at all locations are up and running, sort of. We still have issues to work through with the vendor to completely deploy them as we intended. There's also some rather complex software to install on our computers and our phones. However, the vendor has been somewhat slow to address our concerns. Problem stems from the fact their main technician who did that work has left the company, and they need to get someone new trained and up to speed on their systems. Also, they've changed the software they use, but haven't fully trained their people on it so they can train us. Meanwhile, I have their check, which was funded out of the Marina grant, still sitting on my desk, and I'm not going to release it until all of our concerns are addressed and everything is up and running as it's supposed to be. Also, we purchased a flat screen TV to install here in the office to display camera feeds from all 3 places, and we paid for that out of the grant as well. North Shore Pay Station. The new pay station at the North Shore has been installed. However, we need to change out the electrical service disconnect with a new panel so we can get power to the machine to get it up and running and meet the state's newly implemented electrical code for this. Been waiting going on a month for a bid from an electrical contractor to do this. So I called another firm who's coming out this week to look at it and give us a bid. The good news, if there is any, is that all the pay stations have been reprogrammed for the updated rates. Proposal to moor the MV Kirkland here. I've been doing our due diligence on this and have been confidentially sharing the information I've uncovered with you all. I've also made you all aware of my concerns about this project in terms of the impact on our revenue situation. However, whether or not to proceed is up to you. Additional discussion and possible decision are on tonight's agenda. Port Centennial on Friday, September 10th, 2021. Port will be 100 years old. We set the date for a public open house event to celebrate this on Sunday, September 12th, since we have booked the gazebo bowls the 10th and the 11th. And we're in the process of planning the public celebration. Belfair artist James Kelsey's begun work on the artwork for the monument. He's coordinating former Commissioner Keith Chamberlain about creating the monument the artwork will be mounted on. I ordered the plaque to go on the monument today. Website updates. We'll be refreshing our website in the near future with some new pictures, including drone shots and perhaps simplifying the navigation somewhat. We're also looking into setting up webcam from our security cameras. Old business. Oyster House, as you know, our funding request for this project was included in the final capital budget. We're awarded $344,000 to complete this project. We also have an additional $10,000 to work with for parking lot repairs if it's damaged during the Oyster House project. We're still waiting on the Army Corps permit. However, we did receive a positive answer for the question of using our existing hydraulic permit to at least take out the old launch ramp now that the fish window's reopened. I spoke with Rex Wallingford, who will be doing the demolition, and he said he can do it mid-month. We'll need to rent an excavator, but we should have a minimal amount of expense, and whatever it does cost us is included in the Oyster House grant. Sweetwater Park, nothing new at all to report on this. All Ports meeting, there was an in-person meeting on July 26th at the Port of Brownsville. However, I wasn't able to attend due to a family issue. I will receive a set of minutes sometime in the near future. Be happy to pass them on if you all want to see them. Criminalization of marina rules. Commissioner Jackson will be working with the sheriff to move this forward once the camera issues are worked out. That's my report. I'm happy to answer any questions. Okay.
Commissioner Scott, can I jump in real quick?
I think Judy's muted.
Yeah, I just,
It won't, there, finally let me unmute myself. Okay,
Okay,
yes, go ahead, Ted, thank you.
Thanks. On our agenda, it said the meeting was going to be held in person, so I went down to the Port of Allyn, and Mr. Van Busker was there and served me with the paperwork documentation regarding the lawsuit. Mr. Carey also showed up, so I'll drop it by the office with my signature on it tomorrow. So they anticipated the meeting was going to be done in public, so they were there.
Oh. Okay. They did bring it to my work.
Yes,
Also.
I'm aware of that. I didn't know we were going to do a Zoom meeting. The agenda said we were going to do it both live and Zoom, so I went down to the port office. So,
Okay. Okay, thank you. Anything else for old business? Seeing none, new business. Discussion of the proposal of concerning the MV Kirkland. Anybody else like to start about any discussion? I can say one thing. I had been trying to get a hold of Jason to go take a look at it. Of course, they were gonna use Phil. I wanted to have Phil down there too. Things kind of have gone awry, with Phil. I still would like to try to go take a look at it, but I'd like to hear what you gentlemen would say about it as well. John, do you have anything? Ted? Ted, you're muted.
I was going to let John speak first.
Okay, well, I just feel like we're like on the rear end of this thing with them trying to make this work. There's a couple, if I understand it correctly, we've gone through now a couple different captains that were on the table, and I'm not comfortable with it anymore. So that's part of my discussion.
Yeah, Ted? And you're muted, Ted. You're still muted.
And so I'll add one more thing. So sometimes when we're in a hurry to do something, not we, but when something is in a hurry to get something done, they're not making decisions that are filtered proper. Because maybe we could think about next year. That's my take on it, and we'll look at it again. With the seasons the way they are.
Okay, Ted, do you have something?
No, I agree with what Commissioner Sheridan said. And then also I would say that let's focus on our plan to remove that boat launch and get the Oyster House moving instead of taking on another project. So I do hear complaints that we don't want to block the view across from North Bay. And so I'm concerned. And then with the other issues that occurred over the last couple of weeks, I'm concerned about the person we're dealing with.
I would concur. I would like to table that until we make any decisions. There needs to be a lot more done.
Yeah, there's not enough done. And, part of this thing could be later on when all these things are thoughtfully considered, like Commissioner Jackson mentioned about that. Maybe one of the preemptive strikes, if they get all their ducks lined up, is to put it there for a week or for a few days with the notice that they want to see just what that looks like to the community, not as it's okay to do this permanently, but just as an opportunity for people to see that it has a smaller footprint than they might think, or things like that, because I think it would. But I have other concerns, but I understand. So.
Okay. All right, anything else in regard to the MV Kirkland? Larry?
I have shared my concerns with all of you confidentially about this, and I believe doing this would be a mistake for the port, and because of the things that I've shared with you. And I just want to be on record as saying that.
Okay. All right, and thank you, because again, things were confidential. That was from other entities, not just us. Okay, next item would be the policy on the alcohol at the port facilities. And Larry, you had written up a port policy in
Right.
alcohol use. I had a chance to glance over it. I didn't really have any issues about it myself. So anything else, commissioners?
No, I like the policy. Unfortunately, there are those that carry on responsibly with the use of alcohol, and there are those that don't. This unfortunately paints that finer brush that eliminates some of that problem. Unfortunately, for those that would drink responsibly, are kind of having to be put on put off to the side, but that's okay because that's, we don't want issues at the port. We want to run it responsibly. I like it.
Okay. Ted?
Let me get back on the Zoom. I have no problem with it. But Larry, I also have to ask, when we do weddings, are they required to have a banquet
Yes,
license?
they are.
Okay,
Yes.
that's all believe me, that's fine. The policy looks good, so.
Okay. Did anybody want to try to adopt it? Do you want to table it for next month? Or
I'll
any
make,
comment?
I'll make a motion to adopt it, and it's a good policy. I'll make that motion now.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, so moved. I keep hearing some dings, like, is somebody trying to get on? Are they trying to get on?
No, what that is, that's my computer
Okay,
notifying me I have email, but if I
okay,
turn the sound off, then I can't hear you.
that's all right, all right. And like what you had said, the next item is the possible budget review and discussion, and I'm kind of with you on that. I didn't get a chance to really observe and kind of hash that over for myself. I would like to table it, but I would like everybody else to know what they want to do. If they want to deal with it tonight, we can.
My thoughts on that, Commissioner, is to table it. I've got it and I've looked through it a little bit, but to give justice to it, I'd have more to give it good thought and good discussion on my part. So that's where I'm at.
Okay, Commissioner Ted?
I'm sorry, my internet was going in and out. Can you repeat that?
Yeah,
Yeah. Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. So I was just saying, Commissioner, that I've got it here and I've looked at it, but to give it justice, I would want to go through it more thoroughly before I can responsibly discuss or look at it and have anything to say about it. So I need more time and I'd like to table it for further review on my part.
And Commissioner Scott, I am sorry. I heard Commissioner Sheridan's last, but what were we speaking about? That's the problem that cut out.
We're talking about the possible budget review and discussion.
Okay. So yes, I agree with Commissioner Sheridan. Let's table that till September meeting, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Okay, that would be just fine for me.
Yeah, I apologize. It was just cutting in and out there.
Now, I think it's also mine. It keeps coming up unstable about every 10 minutes, and I've had to take my video off just to get it back normal.
Okay. We have our legal counsel here. Joe, would you like to say anything? You're muted. Hopefully Larry can you unmute yourself?
You're gonna have to unmute him, Larry, because I
that's
unmuted.
fine.
I have.
Okay.
Yeah, hi, good evening. Thank you, Commissioner Scott. At this time, I don't have any particular comments or requests. I've sent some communications to the commissioners as recently as the last few minutes. It's confidential. So I will call your attention to that. But otherwise, no, feel free to proceed with the meeting.
Great, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you for helping us along these new adventures. Not new ventures, but new challenges. Okay, next is public comment. I just ask that you keep it to 3 minutes. So who first? Okay, Jeff.
Okay, I'll keep it short and sweet. I'm pleased that you, at least at this point, at least put off the MV Kirkland decision. I participated with the Allyn Community Association for a number of years, was president of it for 7 years. And while we did want to see things like this come to the community, again, looking at it, it seems like it was going awfully fast and not, at least what was covered with the public wasn't enough detail to really make a intelligent decision as to whether to move ahead with it or not. A question I always had back in the day when I was president with the ACA was the liability, and both at the port level as a taxpayer. Obviously, there's that liability, but also for the Allyn Community Association. My understanding, and maybe I misunderstood, but the Allyn Community Association was one of the parties bringing this to the port as a a mission or a project to pursue, to look into pursuing, if I understood it correctly. And spending a little time with charities and what have you, one really has to look at when you involve a charity in anything, whether it's in the private sector or in the municipal sector, that the activity you're venturing and pursuing is in alignment with their articles of corporation and their missions and what have you. And while things, it's been 8-9 years since I've been at the helm, laws like this don't usually get easier, they get harder in regulations wise. And I would really be concerned as to how far the ACA could go in doing that, whether it's within their charter as a charity to pursue that. I'd be very concerned about that. And I may be all wet on it, but at least back in the day, at least 10-12 years ago, I didn't see where that, applying it now, I just don't see where that fit. I mean, I think it's an interesting project. I think it could be very interesting, but at the same time, I don't think anybody wants to see a party boat at the end of the dock.
You have 30 seconds.
Oh dear. On the budget, I do want to have some comments about that, but it looks like you're putting it off. One thing I'll say is that we need some consistency between the different years. Some say draft, some say final, some have actual, some don't say anything. If that could be cleaned up, it would really make it much easier for the public, myself included, to know whether to push a point or not push a point, because I can't really tell whether it occurred or didn't occur. And I'll just raise one example. For the 2021 budget, there's a line item under the water budget called administrative fee, but it's under revenues. So I'm a little confused.
It is a revenue item.
The administrative fee,
Yes.
it was a revenue item?
Yes, it is a revenue item.
Well, and it doesn't have to be explained tonight, but if that could be explained a little further where you're coming from, because
Sure.
when I think of administrative fee, I think of, your time, Lynette, Leanne's time and what have you towards, administrative. And so I don't look at that as a revenue from that standpoint. I look at it as an expense. So maybe that could be explained at the next meeting. And I think the rest will follow to the budget. One last thing, if I may have just one more second here. In the executive report under water system issues, there was this mention of the Washington Water. Until just a day or two ago, I didn't have, was never notified about that cease and desist letter that went from an attorney firm's Washington Waters to the port. The question I have is, and maybe it can't be answered at this point, but the question I have is, have those issues, one, been addressed or resolved, or are we just working on it? And I'm sure the attorney will probably have something to say about that. Question mark. So I'll leave it at that. If we can answer, great. If not, we'll talk about it next meeting.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Did you want to address that, Larry or Joe?
Yeah, I can do it or Joe can do it, either one.
Joe, would you like to address the Washington Water Service meeting that we had?
I'm trying to get him to unmute here. There we go.
All right, thank you. Thanks, Larry. I actually think it's, Larry and I have discussed it. He touched on it briefly in his update. And so if you want to refer back to that, Larry, you perhaps, if you just hit the highlights of the discussion that took place and the resolution, that would, I think, I hope answer Jeff's question.
Okay, sure. When I came here 6.5 years ago, I was led to believe that Washington Water service area did not go north of Lakeland Drive, except for the commercial strip along the highway. And there is a little jog in it that does go north of Lakeland, and that's what they were concerned about. We did issue some water availability letters for that area. We've rescinded the letters, and we have put Washington Water in contact with the builder. And that's all there is to it.
Okay.
You know, we
No,
didn't-
I'm not, I'm.
there was
all
no
I'm-
unexpected, problem. So.
No, all I was, is, did it get addressed?
Yeah,
And-
it did.
And you're explaining, it sounds like you're explaining that basically, once things were realized, then the water adequacy for that area was rescinded and pushed in towards Washington Water or whoever.
And
serves
that's
there.
exactly what happened.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Mr. Carey, other Mr. Carey, Harold, Dad Carey. Barry or Vicky?
No,
No?
I think we're done for tonight.
Okay. Anything for the good of the order? I do have one thing. Chamber of Commerce has a gala September 11th. I can't remember where it's supposed to be. Which is-
Alderbrook.
Okay, thank you. So, if anybody can attend, that's great, but we are going to be pretty busy.
The next
Okay.
day is our 100-year celebration.
Absolutely.
Ted's cooking salmon.
Oh, boy.
Couple of quick things. The North Mason Bulldogs is holding their booster club. And if anybody has any will, the North Mason Booster Club has been hit really hard with the COVID, and that we're not getting a lot of donations. Matter of fact, their booster club, the athletic booster club is down quite a bit from years past. So we're going to hold a golf tournament up here in Lakeland Village on the 29th. And also Larry and Leanne, if we have time within the next week, I'll solidify stuff that's going on. I'm supposed to be in Pullman the weekend, but I'll make sure I'm back before our 100th year anniversary. So,
Otherwise, we won't have any salmon.
well, I'll make sure I'm here and the salmon's here, but I just need to get you some prices. So,
Okay.
And of course, anything I can do to help, I'll be whatever you need.
well, Judy, what we may need to do is store the salmon at the grocery store or someplace overnight. So we've done that for Allyn days and may need some connections there just to make sure we have some freezer space to make sure that salmon stays cold.
Okay, see what I can do. Great. John, do you have anything? Good of the order.
Well, I'll see what I can do during that 10 at a time. I've got some salt coming up on the 19th, so y'all know, which means that if I'm not around, there's a reason for that one. Anyway, I don't have anything else to say. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, I don't see anybody else raising their hand. Anything else for the good of the order? One last time, other than that, meeting can be adjourned.
I'll
Okay,
make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
all right. Second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you and good night. And thank you very much for listening.
Good night.
Thank you, everybody.